Dispatcher to driver, do you wish that you had somebody else helping you look for loads? You're looking for somebody to just watch those routes and get the really good stuff, right? You want a dispatcher to watch a load board during those times where you can't, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to help you make sure you stay loaded. And all we do is sit at computers, look at load boards, and make phone calls. That's what we do. Hey, welcome back again to Dispatching Live on Auto Transport Intel. I've got Sue with me from Murphy Auto Transport, and she is going to join me. We're going to do a little bit of dispatching, I think. Let's bring Sue in. Hey, Sue, can you see me and hear me okay?
I can hear you, Jay. How are you?
All right, I can hear you. Okay, so you're with me. You're on the phone, and you run a dispatch office. How's that going
Yeah.
right now?
Well, not well, considering I can't blame the drivers for not being on the road, but there are no loads either. That doesn't help anything due to not being able to buy cars and sell cars, and that's affecting everything. And
Right.
whether it's because they're home because of safety or not, it's not necessarily they're home because of the virus. They're home, most of them are home because there's no loads to move them with.
You know, so I've been talking a lot lately between State of Car Hauling Address. I've been on a couple panels talking about what's going on nationwide with car sales. We know that auctions will let you pick up and deliver with the gate pass and calling ahead and whatnot. But the biggest
Yeah.
problem, yeah, is dealer showrooms. Dealers also can't
Hmm.
go to auctions to buy cars, and all has to be digital. And
Right.
then I got clarification. So the deal is apparently Michigan, Pennsylvania are the toughest states as far as car sales, car hauling.
Hmm.
Now, John at Ship Your Car Now says he's got drivers going in and out of Pennsylvania, but there is no car sales in Pennsylvania. But at the same time, I heard that in Michigan you can't even do car hauling. What do you think of that? Do you have
We were there
information on
last
that?
week. I had a driver there last week going in and out of Michigan. We picked up a couple out of their distribution center, one out of Lansing, two out of Dearborn, and then one at the Mannheim, and we didn't have any problems.
Isn't
I
that
don't know about this
fascinating?
week. Like I said, I don't have any.
So
Yeah,
and that's
and
just like everything else, it's officer by officer. I mean, if you
hmm
get the wrong
yep,
officer and you got the wrong kind of truck, maybe you know.
yeah. Yeah, that I think so too. And like when Texas made the rule that you couldn't come in from Louisiana, Georgia, Michigan, all the high states is what it was, Illinois. I had a driver that wanted to go in there to deliver cars, and he called the state, and the state said, "Yes, we will let you in and out of here as long as you're fully loaded and fully loaded back because you're commercial."
You know, and it's interesting you said
So,
about Georgia because the governor of Georgia, I think within the past week, said he's just become aware that we've got a problem. I'm paraphrasing, but that actually happened.
well, I know he put a, uh, whatever you want to, home and shelter thing. Was it 2 weeks ago now? And
At best, at best.
yeah,
He,
yeah, because he had never closed the restaurants or anything
oh, you know,
until then.
go swimming, get a sandwich, touch everything. I don't know, but the thing is, I mean, seriously, I was surprised to see Georgia on that list. Michigan, not surprised. Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear in Pennsylvania? Apparently, they had dealerships open for a while, but it was only a select number. The other ones argued, "Hey, why can't we?" And they said, "Okay, fine, nobody can sell cars."
Well, they may not be selling them. I know they're letting people pick them up. If they have a
Exactly.
service center, they're allowed.
Which gets into why can you transport cars but you can't sell them out of the showroom even with new social distancing rules. Most Midwest dealerships you can do the social distancing in a showroom, although I read
Right.
Nevada just shut it down again. It's almost impossible to keep
Really?
up. Yeah,
No.
that's why
Yeah,
I'm
because
asked.
it's back and forth.
That's
Yeah.
why Michael says Georgia must be living under a rock. I don't know. And it actually, what you know, the Florida beaches. Listen, I want my freedoms too, but there's a reason we're all doing shelter in place, not just some states.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not
Right.
sure if they
I
needed to
agree.
ticket the surfer in California when he came out of the water. Yeah, I don't. And even the sheriff in Maine said he doesn't want to give anybody tickets. He just wants people to stay home.
Right. And they don't want to put people, they're claiming they'll put people in jail too. But they're letting people out of jail because
Right.
of the virus. So they're not going to put people in jail either.
Well, they got to let prisoners out of prison so that they can make room for the soccer moms that violate stay at home. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I think that's in the executive order. Okay, so we got the introduction underway. This is a comedy show, clearly, because we don't have much else to do. Why don't you go ahead and share your screen? Let's see what's going on the load boards. Let's roll the load board dice. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today, by the way, while Sue loads up her screen. This is Dispatching Live. This is where we dispatch live, or at least just talk about it. We do this once a month.
All right, well.
And, yeah, so what do we got here, Sue?
I'm just going to do all.
I just want to say that Sue is audio only to save on internet because of the dicey connection that we get sometimes. So, you're going to do all. What's your search parameters?
I'm just going to do all so everybody can see what's really out there, which is not much. And this is just for the next 3 days. And consistently, since I would say the beginning of the week, it's been going down at least 500. Oh, that isn't right. Hold on. It's been going down anywhere from 500 to 1,000 loads every single day. It started out last week. I think we were at 11 something. Right now, when I looked at it, what did I say? It was like 8,500. Let's see.
Yeah. So, well, that's the thing. So I was checking. So here's what I did. I just showed it Tuesday night, and what I did is I did 30 days out, all to all, except for Pacific, which is Hawaii and Alaska, and that was 13,500. Now I think we just checked it, but okay. So what's 8689? Is that for 3 days? That's a 3 day.
That's for the next 3 days, because that's usually what my parameters are when I'm looking for guys for loads.
And that's a fair thing to do. And this is 48 states for 3 days, right?
Yep.
Okay.
This is everything. Well, no, this is all the states actually, because there's still people listing stuff going to Honolulu, which I don't know how they think they're going to get there on here.
I'm not sure either. And it probably still doesn't pay enough.
There was three. No. Oh, no, it was like $300 from someplace in North Carolina going to Honolulu. And I'm like, are these people even understanding the concept?
It's interesting, by the way. So that on Tuesday Nights Live, I mean, I have dealers, brokers, carriers, members of auctions, repo, ports, whoever. But when I go back into dispatching mode, I'm reminded of why brokers irritate me.
Yeah.
Because if you're a carrier or a dispatcher, you find brokers irritating. That's just the fact.
Well, this is what I will say. Not all brokers are built the same.
No.
And not all brokers are true brokers. What I have found over the last 2 weeks is there are many transporters listing cars on here way under what it should be. And they should know better because they're a transporter. I found many of those, and several of them are billings and not CODs, which, just so everybody knows, I was turning everybody in. It didn't do any good, but, hey.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing, too. I like that you talked about different types of brokers. It's the visible brokers, the ones that don't have preferred relationships or, their own set of trucks or whatever. The ones that are posting on Central, the visible ones, those are the ones that are mostly irritating. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is actually, this is meant to be good feedback, by the way. For anybody that runs a load board, just know that, half the stuff being seen is not.
And you know as well as I do, there's brokers and then there's brokers. There's brokers that have a broker bond, and then there's these guys on here that are selling cars, so they can use Central Dispatch and list these cars. And those are the ones you're going to see that are 30, 40 cents a mile. And you call them and tell them, I want more money, and they will not come up.
So me and Ty were talking about this. It could be that dealers don't need a broker's license because they own the car. Now, that would be a loophole, because according to the legal language of the FMCSA, it doesn't matter if you're a janitor, because that's how dispatchers
Right.
are getting caught in the net. You've got to have a broker's
Well,
bond if you're arranging for transport.
now, see, they do have a bond as to sell cars. They have to have a bond, but it is not a broker's bond. It is just for selling cars. If they
Okay.
sell a lemon or whatever, and the same thing with importer exporters that list cars on here as well. They do the same things, but I don't think they have to have any kind of bond either. So I don't understand how that works either.
Wow.
There's a lot of them on here.
That's pretty handy. And
Yeah.
what about carriers that post cars cheap? Nobody talks about
Yes.
the carriers that
Yeah,
post
they-
cars cheap, huh? Nobody wants to talk
Yeah.
about that. How
Selling
dare you
cars.
talk
They
about
sell
carriers
it.
doing anything wrong? I can't believe you'd
Yeah,
point that
and-
out, Sue.
And honestly, that's what I've been dealing with more over the last couple of weeks, trying to load guys. There's been a lot of transporters listing cars on here really cheap.
And yeah, exactly.
And-
Not only
Pretty
that,
And bills.
not only posting them, but posting them really cheap. And you reported it
Yeah.
to Central, and what happens?
Yep.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Nothing.
You're
They don't
fine.
pull them off. And if they really piss me off, what I go in there and do is I put a listing right next to them and say, don't offer this company. They're a transporter. You have no guarantee you're going to get paid. And because I'm dealing with one right now, it's the guy still hasn't paid one of my drivers, and it's 30 days past due. And he said, well, I haven't been paid by the dealer. I said, well, if you're going to act like a broker, you need to pay. That's not the way this works.
So
I get called out on mine if I didn't pay somebody.
Sure. Oh, I'm sure. And so the moral of the story is here, there's plenty to hand around. And that's why I'm looking forward to the end of the month. I've got James Lamb as my guest. We're going to have our Dispatchers Illegal show. This is a big, this is a legal show. We're going to get legal. And, yeah, we're going to talk about it. I think he's saying that dispatchers are illegal based on rulings and laws. Well, then let's talk. We need to point everybody out, because it ain't just the dispatcher at home.
It's not just dispatchers.
No, God, no. That's silly.
Yeah.
That is so silly.
No, I agree. Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at loads, talking about brokers, talking about illegal dispatchers. Do you have anybody driving right now?
I don't. I do have a guy that, John wants me to kind of look for loads. So let's look at it. He's out of
Okay.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Perfect.
And so let's look kind of what I've been doing for any of the drivers. I hate to say this, but a lot of these drivers are driving 200 or 300 miles just to get loads if they want to stay on the road.
Gosh, that's unheard of.
Yeah, no. And I don't do it, but if you've got to make some money, that's what some of these guys are having to do. So let's look up, we're going to look up Ohio, Michigan, and PA for him. And then we're just going to go to all, and we're going to see how bad it is here. Oh, I'm going to take out these little loads that are only $200. So
Oh,
otherwise
totally.
we'll
That's
have
such a good idea. That is a great
Yeah.
little, for anybody that doesn't know, not only do the minimum cents per mile, but do the minimum pay per vehicle, because you don't want to see.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing
You
all
don't wanna
that
see
work
the
for
crap.
$100? Now, I'm just,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
talking over the road. If you're local, I think that $100
with
is
ya.
as low as you should. You should never pull a $50 car. It ain't worth it.
I agree. And on top of it, a tow truck would charge them more than that anyways.
Exactly.
You know that as
Oh
well
my
as I
gosh.
do.
And you know the tow truck drivers are thinking, what are those car haulers doing?
Yeah.
Right? Why would you move a car an hour away for $50?
Exactly.
Nobody would do that.
All right. Well, there's actually 461 loads, but we got 3 states
All right,
going
cool.
here too. So,
So if you sent,
here's
are
a
you,
5.
so you're
Okay.
confident if you sent him to Michigan, you're confident he can pick up. without
Oh
getting
yeah.
stuck.
Well, I would also call. I would call ahead too,
Okay.
just to make sure that everything was fine.
Yep.
But
All right.
okay, so it looks like, I mean, he's not a 5 car. He's only a 3. I mean, and my 5 car couldn't even hold this stuff. So I'm not sure what they're thinking, because that's big. You got basically those Yukon XLs are Suburbans. So that's going to be a tough one. It'd have to go on a bigger car hauler than a 5, probably a 7 to make it
What a
fit.
Great way to sneak it in. I mean, now they're not sneaking anything in, but that doesn't
No.
pay enough for the amount
No.
of size and weight that you're going to be loading.
No. And you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
not really.
If you were a 5 car and you could fit that, I guess that's okay, because you could do that in one day. But usually my
There's no
5
5 car
cars
that can fit
and my
that.
4 cars. No, you'd have to have a bigger car. You seriously would have to have a 7.8, I think, to make that fit.
You would.
You know what I mean?
So it's
But
basically a full
it's not
load,
enough money.
and it's
Yeah.
exactly what are the payment terms? $750.
A new pays, they're quick pays.
Okay,
So you'd get them right away. And they also
Okay.
do, if you want, they'll give you a picture of a check and you can put it in your bank immediately. But like most people want to make more than that in a day. That's just not enough money. I mean, in general, you want to make $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 to do a run. If you're doing local, I guess that would be fine, because that's kind of, you know what I mean. That's not very many miles, but it wouldn't work for any of us.
Essentially, yeah, that's a full load carrier that's used to doing that route.
Right.
But you know what?
You
Aren't you going to have some tolls in there too?
Yeah, you will. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else? Let's see. Let's look for that anchor. Where's that anchor? We're always looking for the anchor load here on Dispatching Live. There's nothing worth going anyway.
To put a higher thing on. Well, see how here's some boats.
Well, so Vinny, there we go. Vinny is talking about how we bring the Corona with the cars. This is why on the panel I was on yesterday, Ryan was talking about he thinks touchless delivery still has more potential for spreading the virus than if you go to a showroom practicing social distancing.
Right.
It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Because you can disinfect at the showroom better than you can on the truck, however it is that you deliver. Just it's a thought. I mean, I don't have the statistics on that yet.
So this is what I've been dealing with. Almost all the cars that have been on Central are going to New Jersey or New York or to the port in Maryland. That's the only cars I've been seeing listing. And then you're going into the big epicenter of everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going there. There's no hazard pay in a 50-cent Can-Am Ryker, which isn't even a car, by the way. That's
no. And look at this. This is enclosed for $1,300.55.
Oh my God, Detroit to Portland? Ford T-Bucket? What in the world's a Ford T-Bucket?
It is a little tiny truck. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, really? That's good. But
it should be paying $1 a mile minimum for that.
That should be paying way more. That really should.
Yeah. They look like that. They're not big. Don't get me wrong, but
okay,
this is
so you know what you see? You know what you see when you see that? Go back to the picture for me. When you see that, you know what I think? Dude, if you bought that and you own it, you've got more money to ship it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're right.
And I would love to be told I'm wrong about that. Like, I want to have a conversation. Like, okay, so are you selling it because you need money? I get it. But the guy that's buying it can pay for the shipment. Somebody's got some money. Right? In fact, isn't that what...
This is what they run. This is the value of them. I guess they're not worth that much.
Well, it's not as high as I would think. But listen, if the guy in Portland really wants it, maybe you got a great deal on buying it. But guess what? The carrier has nothing to do with your excitement on your cheap purchase.
Right, exactly.
You're going to have to pay to ship it, man. That's not enough money.
No,
it's
not.
That is not. And it's not even a route. Does anybody go from Detroit to Portland?
What do you bet? Here, let me just
let's look at the map. Let's look at the map. I
bet you there's nothing else going that direction.
Right, there we go. Let's try to build a route around an underpaid and closed load. I like it. Hey, what's up, Ty? Travis has just spoke with a friend who dispatched domestic and international freight. He says the ports are full of freight with no one to run it. Well, that's the problem. Thank you, Travis. That is a big problem, is capacity is growing everywhere. I mean inventory. Inventory is growing at the auctions, right? Like you said, at the ports.
Right.
It's stacking up, and, no one's ready to move anything. I mean, and that comes back to shelter in place. Just because you should move it, or just because you can move it, should you? Oh, I'm totally
Okay.
I'm emotionally invested in seeing if we can move a Ford T-Bucket and not go broke.
Let's see here. What I put in was Utah, California. Um, what else did I put in there? Washington. I just put in the states so I know
Oh
we
my
would
gosh,
probably
no
hit.
way. We can get a Dodge Ram for 38 cents a mile. That's awesome. By the way, does anybody know how long it takes to get from Portland to Seattle? It's like 5 hours. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we'll just
yeah.
eat it. You know what? Cuz it's a sweet old lady. Let's put it to
And you got to pay to go into Oregon as well.
This is why carriers are so upset with rates. This is terrible. That's awful, man. You ain't going to make nothing.
No, I mean, look, because I mean, and this is in San Francisco, and it's all the way in Philly, so that's not going to help you
A
either.
Sprinter for 40 cents a mile?
Yeah, all the way to San Fran,
Wow, man. Wow.
and that's in Philly. You got to go backwards for that. It's
If
3,000 miles.
if I
That's,
called on that, I'd be asking for 3,000. Click.
yeah, yeah. They wouldn't even.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, we got a Sea-Doo going to
So,
LA. That doesn't help us
if
there.
you're watching the show, this isn't just a comedy hour, though it feels that way. This is good feedback. If you're a broker or a dealer or you have a load board, you need to see this. These rates, no carrier can stay in business at some of this stuff. You can't.
No,
Even a
I mean,
72
and this,
Oldsmobile Cutlass enclosed. What,
yeah,
so you're going to
no,
break even on your enclosed trailer?
yeah.
Going to
Oh, and look, it
LA? What are you
actually
going to
picks
do when you
up.
get to LA? Oh, an actual
Look,
actual pickup. I love those.
yeah, yeah.
Actually
That's
picks
not even.
up on the moon.
Yeah, in
Okay, I
Burlington,
know it's not
Kentucky.
fair, but it's true, isn't it? It's true.
Yep, that's the way it goes.
Dispatch
Let's
made me
see.
crazy. Ohio to
Look
LA,
at that.
29 cents?
Yeah,
Why would you?
yeah.
You ain't gonna make any money
I
on that.
Well, and I hate to say this. These rates for these long hauls. This is kind of typical. This isn't even
And, right.
because of the virus.
That's what
This
people
is
exactly.
a typical thing.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
that's why if you go on Facebook, carriers are ready to burn down the village. That
yeah.
29 cents a mile on that car, that is break even.
See, and this is huge right here. This is
Chevy
huge.
Cutaway.
That's a cutaway van. That's big.
Let's
And San
let's
Jose, San Martin is along the coast. That's a pain in the butt right there.
Brendan says, "Guess who's
Oh,
back?"
let's go and
Hey, what's up, Brendan? Hey, show that picture of the 2014 Chevy Express Cutaway. Just go ahead and that's always a good time.
right here, right here. Yeah,
Yeah, let's see that thing. By the way, just a note is you're having to copy and paste. You can't click on that. That's not a clickable link. If this was
right.
dealer software, there'd be all kinds of clickable, but it's not. Now, I am looking forward to having Cox on the show at some point. So I'm trying to help. Is that, listen, I know that there's a central dispatch beta, but there's still more work to be done, I believe. Yeah, that's big, dude. 49 cents a mile?
Put that up. Right, it was 1,100. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
and
my
look,
favorite
and
pastimes.
it's either one of these or one
I
of these. It's gonna be something big.
Brent. Let's do this. All right, so we looked at, we got a tertiary. By the way, are we still? Hey, Ford Transit, 40 cents. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not that that's.
Here's another one going to Portland, but it's way down in Cincinnati.
And we were talking about. Yeah. Listen, I do not like booking loads to California. Right.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, me neither.
You know what's interesting? Go back up to that Ford Transit for a second there. Okay, there we go. Ohio to San Francisco, 2,500 miles. See, the problem is that somebody's saying, well, but you're going to make that money the whole way. Yeah, it's 2,500 miles. That's days of time. $1,000 to move a van for days at a time. There's no money in that.
5-day trip.
Yeah, there's no money in that.
even if you were, okay, say you were a 10 car hauler, and as you can see, they're not all paying this much anyways. They're trying to pay this much because it's a big old transit. But most of them are paying only, what was it? Because the big car haulers can only haul like one or two of these things, and then that cuts them down. There was another
All I'm
one
seeing is
going
break-even
to...
money. I haven't seen an anchor load yet.
No,
Not one.
there's not. No. I mean, there's
Dude,
only 29 loads.
Look at that
Most of
GMC
them are...
Sierra. Go to that Reindeer load. That's a GMC Sierra 3500 four-wheel drive crew cab Denali 1100.
Yeah. Yep.
Going to Salt Lake City. Wow. Anything else going to Salt Lake City?
No.
Dude, you can't build
The closest I got is this one here going to St. George. And what's weird is this, and that's another F-350.
But
so, you know.
Now, this is everything that's been sitting on the... Well, when did it get posted? It got posted today. Okay, so it's not like it's been sitting forever.
No. No. And then look at this one. This one's an NOP.
By these rates...
And enclosed. NOP and enclosed. Bargain.
What's a Divin? What is that? Is it...
I don't know.
Is it long? Let's look at that.
It's probably a boat.
That's what I was
probably
thinking.
Weighs 5,000 pounds because it's all metal.
That's what I'm thinking. It's an INOP?
Yeah, it's a boat.
INOP enclosed
and
boat.
It's a big old long.
Oh yeah, sign me up.
Long.
Let's
That's probably 20 foot, at least 20, maybe 21. That's big.
Oh, Michael wants me to define anchor load. Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Because actually, it irritates me when I hear a term of art, but I don't know the definition. An anchor load is the load I'm looking for that's going to bring in the money. Like $1 a mile Honda Accord. That's an anchor load, and I'll build a route around it. Now, if the anchor load cancels... we might have to rethink the whole trip. And I know nobody wants to hear that. But, again, car haulers are in business to make money. This is not socialism. I just used that word. The only way left to make $1 is to have direct clients. I'll run the California market, and Central or any other load board can't make you money. Yeah. Thanks, Jason. That's why we talk about it all the time. You have to have clients. Yeah. You ain't going to stay in business on this, man. No way. Okay, wait. Chevy Malibu, Ohio to Georgia. Now, Toledo, unfortunately, you got to go backwards to get it. But if you could build a route, see that? 74 cents a mile. And it's a recent
this
Malibu.
Is the problem.
That ain't a 64 Malibu. Yeah, no. Warner Robins is not much of a destination, is it?
No, it's in BFE. You'll be backtracking to get loaded out of there. Mm-hmm. Good question. Thanks. This is a good load too, but Norwalk is not in a normal place either.
No, and I sent him to Chicago one time. He didn't like it. I mean,
no,
there's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's a harder city. You got the tolls. It is. Chicago's a pain. Yep. LA is a pain. That's why 30 cents a mile to go to LA. No, thank you. Because when you look at the delivery location and it's on like Hollywood Boulevard, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He ain't bringing a truck in there. And you think you can ask them to go to a Walmart? Man, I've been to Hollywood, dude. They ain't going to Walmart.
They ain't going anywhere. They want it brought up to their front door and probably parked in there.
But I was promised door to door, and my hair appointment's at 2:30. Get out of here. By the way, I've been to Hollywood, so I know. This is what happens. I've been on the phone.
And see, okay, so what I noticed the other day, we usually, the hot spots for finding cars are Ohio, Pittsburgh, Detroit. Those are the best states to be in. Kentucky too, to get $70 a mile cars. Okay. The other day I was going to send a guy up to Ohio and he was going back to Atlanta. Usually there are loads everywhere, either through Tennessee or Atlanta. They usually almost always pay $1 a mile. This load usually pays $4 to $4.50. And when I put up Ohio to Atlanta and Tennessee, there were 4 cars, and they weren't even 50 cents a mile.
I honestly, these rates are, dude, if I woke out of a deep freeze right now, I would not know that we have a world pandemic. These rates are terrible.
Right.
In the middle of a pandemic? What are they
Yeah,
like
look.
normally? 10 cents a mile?
That's all the way to Utah.
This is terrible.
Almost 1,800
terrible.
miles.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Salt Lake City stuff. Salt Lake City pays. Did when I booked it.
It does. Yeah,
It has to. Do you know what it's like to get out of Salt Lake City?
See, now there's okay. Not that I would go to Vermont, but that is paying somewhat appropriately.
Yeah, well, it is. Actually, it is.
But it is enclosed.
I have never booked a load to Vermont, ever.
No, me neither.
I tried to once.
I had a guy in Massachusetts, and he wouldn't even do Vermont. So.
Exactly. That's crazy. It's not a route.
No.
This is really.
It's very disheartening. Yes,
it is. I still don't know what you'd book.
Well, that's why I don't have anybody on the road. Honestly, I told them, I said, I don't want to get you stuck someplace and we have to drive 200 or 300 miles to get you out just to get you loaded. And that's if we get 50 cents a mile even.
Right.
It's just really rough right there with not being able to have cars. And it's stressful. It's stressful for them. It's stressful for us. I mean, it's
totally
like,
that's
ridiculous. Yeah.
And I mean, just the thought of being out on the road. I don't even want to leave the house. Most people don't want to leave the house. You're going to send a driver out into the elements. The restaurants are closed. The bathrooms are closed. And you're going to pay him 30 cents a mile? That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Are we really all in this together? Sure doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't feel like it either.
Boy, oh boy. This is terrible. Okay, wait a minute. Philly to Nashville. I mean, that's at least... But, I mean, you're not going to send him to Philly to pick up.
No.
Not right now.
I would not.
And
Pittsburgh,
you'd have to put a route together to Philly.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen either because they're not on here.
No.
Let's see. And I don't do Arizona either for the same exact reason as you can see.
Why don't you... will you do me a favor? Will you duplicate another window? Let's do what... Like, here's what I would normally do, is do, like, either a 50 or 100 mile around the house.
Let's do Youngstown.
I want to see a search from... Yeah,
let's just do 100.
Let's do a 2017 search. Let's do 100 around the house, and let's go southeast, midwest, south. This is the search I did in 2017. Let's see how things have gone.
Do you want me to leave the $200 on there?
Yeah, because I know he doesn't want to move a car for under $200. No. Who does?
No.
And actually, this shows PSA. If you're shipping a car, it isn't cheap. Stop Googling cheap car shipping. Don't do that anymore. I'm gonna start Google. What could carriers Google that would irritate residents? Like, your hair appointment is stupid. How about that?
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so
we'll put this as
that Tulsa one isn't bad. That's actually not bad. That's the best.
It's not bad. So I would ask them. I'd ask them for more money if there's more going that way. But watch, I bet there's not.
It's a dealer, so they want to get it moved.
Yeah, so they might be willing to come up, and then again,
and they say no. We do it all day. Really, even during pandemics? Okay.
Yeah, I've been saying that. I'm like, you guys do realize there's probably. What's your guess as to how many drivers are actually on the road? I'm saying like 30%. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe estimate. I mean, because I've heard people say that, somebody was saying that they normally see drivers, on a really regular basis several times an hour, and they were seeing it was a lot less. 30, I think that's fair. 30%. We're at 30% driver volume on the roads right now. That's pretty fair.
What is this?
But the rates don't reflect it.
What is that? That does not.
Rayco RC heavy equipment. What is it like? Is it like a lit like a? What do you
probably
call those things where you lift them up, where you go, you can raise them to the ceiling.
They'll weigh 10,000. Yep. Oh, even better. They probably weigh. That probably weighs.
Oh yeah, book it. I could definitely take 2 of those.
Yeah, and I bet you they weigh 15,000, maybe at least 10.
Oh yeah, have fun
at least 10.
Have a good time on the ramps.
Yeah.
Have you have you? How many times have you successfully booked a Kubota?
Once, because it really did not weigh the 10,000 pounds. It weighed like 5.
Exactly. Once.
So once.
Exactly. How many times have you called a Kubota?
Oh, I've called them, but they always lied to you about the weight. So then I look them up and I find out what they weigh anyways.
This is why I love
They're always
talking.
like, oh, it doesn't weigh any more than a car does. You know, whatever.
Exactly. It's like a golf cart.
This isn't bad either. I mean, if you know, because that's decent right there. But
Hey, there it
I've
is.
yet
It's
to
a
see anything
Certus.
else to go with it. Yeah.
But that isn't bad. It's now.
No, that's 92 cents a mile. Yeah.
And actually,
Nice.
Andy could stay close to home. That is not bad. Oh,
And-
no
and
way.
look at
Oh,
that.
man. Oh, here we go. Woo.
The problem is with the length of these, I
know.
think that's all I'd fit. Oh, man, that's cheap.
That
I
Corolla
wouldn't do
would
it for
fit.
that.
But what is it?
Yeah.
Illyria? What is that? An auction? Is that?
No. I think
That's
I
not-
have a feeling that might be a dealer
Okay.
for some reason.
Now here's the downside, because here's what happens. You get excited, and he goes, "All right, so what do we do? What's coming out?"
Yeah.
Well,
there
you
we
don't
go.
know. We haven't looked
Yeah,
yet.
let's go look. Let's go look at Indianapolis.
And by the time you build that route, guess what happens?
It's gone.
It's gone, and none of it matters.
Nope,
Chase says,
I did that the other day.
Chase says, I run two of the worst market spots. Southern Cal to Vegas. Clients are the only way to do it. Having good brokers even that call you before posting is a major plus. Yeah. That is, dude.
Yeah.
SoCal to Vegas, that is tough.
Mhm.
I've booked that.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It is hard. I've done that too. I had a guy that lived in Arizona.
Right,
Let's see.
exactly. I was just going to say, you throw Phoenix in there or Albuquerque, it is busy. And then you're running up, and then you're trying to throw in Denver, and man, it's tough. It is tough. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining me today on Auto Transport Intel Dispatching Live. Looks like, hey, do me a favor. If you're watching on Facebook, will you do me a favor? Press the like button, and will you share this? Share this with a driver. Share this with a dispatcher. Share this with a broker. Share it with a dealer, right? There are so many people that need to see that when you're looking at, as you're a carrier looking at rates on load boards, it isn't pretty. It's not. By the way, hey, there's a pandemic right now. I thought we were all in this together. Where's the money? Seriously,
Right.
Really?
They should be paying. I think they should be
Please.
paying double just because they're risking their lives out there for this.
I'm
For a
not
car.
leaving that. Yeah, I'm not leaving the house to get groceries unless you pay me $100.
Yeah. I look
And
at
that's
this
just
one.
to go to the store. Mike wants to be a
20
car hauler.
minutes.
I think that this job, there must be aspects of car hauling that are attractive because it ain't the load board rates.
No, not right now, especially. I mean, this stuff will pop back out after we get through this, but it's during this time. I mean, these rates should be a whole lot higher than this. This is ridiculous.
Oh,
I get mad every day I look at this because I know what they're doing out there and how they have to be very careful about how they handle things and talk to people and get things signed, which I've told them not to get anything signed anymore. But they're risking a lot to be out there to do this stuff, and I don't think anybody appreciate it, and it tends to tick me off.
Well, and that's the thing. Thank you. Exactly. It is a risk to be out there right now. It absolutely is a risk. Let's see. Did the stream freeze? Oh, for a second? Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking at... Okay, so I guess we're okay. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you for the feedback, because sometimes I can't tell. On YouTube, it looks frozen, but on Facebook, it looks fine. So, and we're still looking. We're still looking to put a route
I'm looking
together.
out of Indianapolis here.
Oh, hey,
and
by the way, that Ford Edge on Ready, where's Goodland, Kansas? Is that out is that the plains on the western side?
yeah, it's on the way into Colorado. It's way out there.
Yeah, so that's not a route. Because you're either looking at, you're driving to Denver at that point.
Yeah, yep. Let's see.
So
And
the only
far,
thing, only thing we've really seen is that Indianapolis possibility.
Yep.
And he ain't going to stay the night there.
Yeah, I'm looking out of Indianapolis.
So then he'd have to, right?
And,
Man, it just gets so complicated so fast. Oh, man.
And out of Indianapolis, I'm looking here and there's really nothing on here. There's a lot of fifth wheels I've noticed lately moving. Must be people bugging out. That's the only I can think of. I've seen fifth wheels and travel trailers listed left and right for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, and see, yeah, that's another thing. Somebody asked on Facebook, is this a good time to sell a trailer? The answer? No.
Maybe.
There is if you like competition. This is a perfect time to sell a trailer if you want to see what all the other used trailers look like. It's just that there's a lot on the market right now, and that's not meant to be funny. It's kind of a wake up call. Go to Oklahoma City with a truck. Utility bed. Look at that. And look at those
probably
hours.
9 foot long.
Look at that. 9 to noon only. Oh, can we?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday only.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Now look, why is that?
Yeah.
Because they're practicing social distancing. Can we get some social distancing money in here?
Yeah. For me to wait for the day in between.
Everybody else is wiping down everything, but we want a driver to cross the country for 30 cents a mile. Yeah, we're definitely in this together. This is
a good load right here, but you're never going to get out of
Well, why are you going to Sioux Falls? That's why. Yeah. Nobody's going to Sioux Falls. I mean, it's beautiful and all, but
a good load.
I sent a guy to Sioux Falls twice, and then it dried up. Indy to Memphis. That is interesting.
I don't know where. I've never heard of this, but it's obviously not near Memphis because of the mileage. But probably the opposite end is probably by Knoxville instead. Let's see.
Yeah, Corey points it out. The problem is there are people who take those rates. It screws us all.
Yep.
The one more for fuel makes no sense and hurts us all.
Yep, I agree.
Anybody want to give me a book to read for this business? I'm all in. Mike Ross says. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike. Here's the thing. This is not... I rarely talk about this because I know that there are plenty of gaps in it as far as information and who it's for. But I did, let's see here, 20 Steps to Start Car Hauling is a blog post I wrote. And the good news is it contains a lot of good information to help you consider when you get started. But what it doesn't tell you is that you should. Okay, that would be your decision, obviously. So I'm going to put it in the here it is in the live chat. There's a link. 20 Steps to Start Car Hauling. Give that a look over. Let me know what you think. And then talk to Ty. So then you got the 20 steps, talk to Ty. So do this. I'm going to recommend go to CTS Business Coaching. And listen, it's not for everybody. I had one guy say, hey, what are you trying to do? You trying to rope me in? No, man. I'm not trying to rope you in. We know there's a lot of people looking to be car haulers. And we know that a lot of people have to find out the hard way how to do things. Well, we don't want that. Why find out the hard way? Ask people who already know. And that goes for dispatch, too. Listen, if you've got a dispatch question, I'm live with Sue at Murphy Auto Transport Services. There's the link. Contact Sue. Ask her a question. We still seeing anything, Sue?
No, I went back to Michigan because there's nothing. If I were to take them to Indianapolis, we're not getting out of there. Not right now, anyway. So I'm kind of going through this. Looked like there's some stuff going to Georgia, but it's paying too little for using a winch, personally. It was 1,500 vans for only $1,000 going down to Atlanta. It was only like 60-some cents a mile.
My guess is Crystal Falls is up near the coast up north or something. I want to say this. One of the reasons why I also like to go through this, Sue and I have been sitting here for 45 minutes looking for cars. If this job is illegal, what are we talking about? Does the driver, do you have time to sit in your truck while you're driving to do all this? I don't know how. And if you can, great. If your wife does it, your cousin does it, your kids do it, great. But if you're hiring somebody to do this job, and then they're illegal too, I don't know what we're talking about. This job is akin to being a janitor. You're sifting through garbage, sitting out there. these rates don't pay enough. By the way, to do this, to sift through all this stuff, who wants to do that? I don't know, man. I don't get it. And that's why I don't understand why dispatching is illegal. I understand why illegal brokering as a carrier, I understand why that would be illegal. But I don't understand why dispatching and sifting through loads all day is illegal. I don't actually get it. And I know plenty of people looking for it.
I think some of the misconceptions about dispatching too are that we get to their money. We do not touch their money in any way, shape, or form. It all goes to the driver. So what I've had said was that like we tell them it's more money than what it is, and then we keep a chunk of it and then give them the rest. But everything's on central dispatch, or you get a load sheet. So everything goes right to them. They see what they're going to get paid. So there's no way we can fiddle faddle with their money at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no way we're taking anything off the top or anything. So.
You're using their account to get the dispatch. So it went to their account. And by the way, now, cat's out of the bag. You know of somebody who does do what all dispatchers are accused of. There are people that are totally playing the shell game and the scammers. By the way, those aren't dispatchers. They're called liars and scammers. And you know, if you're a liar and a scammer and you're hiding as a dispatcher or an illegal brokering carrier or a dealer or whatever, well, that's fine. You're hiding under some other disguise, but that doesn't make you a dispatcher. This is so crazy. No. I don't know how everybody came to think that dispatchers are the problem. It's weird to me.
Yeah, me too. Because I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never touched anybody's money. It all goes to them. In fact, I have a harder time finding out if they got paid from the driver than I do anything, because I will sit there and relentlessly call the broker and even get copies of cash checks that the driver's already put in the bank just to prove that they got paid.
Exactly.
So there's no way for us to touch their money. I mean, at all.
I honestly, I've never heard. It baffles me, and I'm actually glad that I can be an advocate for this, because it makes no sense.
Me too.
I think anybody that thinks dispatchers are illegal doesn't know what dispatchers do. They're confused.
Exactly.
You don't understand what dispatching is. Now, if you understand what illegal brokering is, well, that would be that I understand. Where you thought dispatchers are illegal brokers, I don't get it.
This one wouldn't. This right here wouldn't be too bad. Now, keep in mind, you'd have to go through Grand Rapids. And then you'd also do Nashville. So
and actually,
you have to ask
Grand
for
Rapids.
money on these.
Yeah.
I do too. I don't think it's bad. It's just, I don't know if it'd necessarily be on your route from Detroit to Memphis and Nashville.
And isn't that the problem? Memphis and Nashville, I mean, it ain't the same location.
No. But, keep in mind, sometimes there's certain ways you're coming in. You're going to come through Nashville to go to Memphis, but it all depends on where you're at. So let's just look and we'll see how bad it is.
Thank you, Michael. The people are trying to say dispatchers are illegal brokers if we have more than one quantity. Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. It is comedy hour with the illegal dispatching brokering argument. Okay, so if you're a dispatcher, here we got the solution. You can be a dispatcher. Difficult job. We've been doing it live. Haven't booked a thing. You can be a dispatcher, but you can only have one customer. Really?
Yeah. You can never survive.
You can open a restaurant, but you can only serve one customer.
Person. Yeah.
Okay. Because we don't understand what you do, so we're going to limit you to one customer. Makes no sense.
Okay, so you see...
Who's the super dispatcher?
And I didn't put in...
This is Sue from Murphy Auto Transport Services. Love talking to Sue. Sue... She's been doing it way longer than I ever did it, and dispatching is a hard job. If you have a question, and she is a licensed broker, so that's what's cool. We can have fun with the illegal dispatcher argument because Sue is a licensed broker. So if you have a question, talk to Sue at Murphy Auto Transport Services. If you're a driver looking for a dispatcher, talk to Sue at Murphy Auto Transport. Hey, by the way, Sue, I saw that you pulled up that screen. Let's go into the super dispatch stuff.
Okay. All right. So super dispatch is what we use for our EBOL.
Yes, okay, so all right, so where are we? We're at carrier.superdispatch.com, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is our load board. Now, this isn't what the guys would see on their phone. They have an app on their phone. But let's do an example. I'm going to take a load from Central Dispatch here.
We know
And then
we've
the password.
seen there's been different videos about how to use different load boards, and so Sue thought, because she uses Super Dispatch with her drivers a lot, this was Sue's idea to show a little bit of using Super Dispatch. In case you have a Super Dispatch question, Sue's going to walk you through a couple things.
I don't want that one. Let's do when he's delivered here.
Okay, Mike. All dispatchers charge a fee because nobody works for free, not even carriers, right?
Right.
And dispatchers, a dispatcher's goal is to raise the rate that the broker is going to pay the carrier, and that raise pays for the dispatcher. That's the goal.
Right.
Does it always work? No, but yeah, nobody works for free. Carriers don't work for free, brokers don't work for free, and dispatchers don't work for free. That is part of the deal. But dispatchers do not collect the money, and they're not illegal.
No.
They're performing a service on behalf of the carrier. Just like a secretary works in an office and a maitre d' works at a restaurant, a dispatcher calls loads on behalf of the carrier and helps make sure stuff is ready for pickup. Oh,
Okay.
you're gonna so you're in the central dispatch.
I'm gonna import it.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm gonna import it. It imports it straight over to Super Dispatch, and I would assume this should still work just because. There we go. Whether it's delivered or not. Okay, so this is it, putting it over there. Then you would go in to edit it, and then you assign it to the driver. And then you also always want to make sure that every spot on here is correct before you send it to the driver, because once you press save order and you've assigned it to the driver, they're going to get a notice on their phone. It dings or whatever it does and lets them know they have a load on here. What we do is after we verify everything in the notes, we'll say, okay, so you got to park so and so and you need to talk to Ron, and they're only open from 9 to 12 or whatever, you know what I mean? If there's an attachment like a release or anything like that, you go down to attachments. You would have already saved the file. You choose the file, you add it to it. I'm just going to put something on here. And then you upload it. And then you just save the order. So that goes straight to the driver. Now, granted, this is just one load. So once he was all loaded, then I would send him a text saying, hey, we're going to pick up this car, this car, this car in this order, and we're going to deliver in this order. And then if there's anything in particular, like they want a specific 30-minute notice to so-and-so, yes, I type it in here, but they don't always pay attention to that. So I also text them and say, hey, don't forget to call Robert or whatever on delivery 30 minutes out so he knows you're coming, that kind of thing. And he'll tell you where to park. Or there's certain places that you can't park. You'll get a ticket. Most of these guys will tell you that when you call to set it up. And you don't want them getting $100 or $1,000 ticket or something like that because it's going to be your fault. So, all right. And then, so that's an example of Central Dispatch putting the load on there. Let's grab, let's say one from CarsArrive. It's a little bit different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see if it does. All right. Oh, maybe it won't let me do it. Crap. Okay, so pretend I did it. Anyways, what it does is it won't let me do it because there's no loads on there. So what it does is it puts it on there the exact same way. It has an import button built into CarsArrive as well for Super Dispatch. You push the button, it puts it in. The only times I have problems with, because I dispatch for multiple drivers, sometimes it'll put it in the wrong guy's account, so I got to delete it and check back into his account to get it in there. Otherwise, it works the same. Let's do one for Rat. Maybe it will work.
And so, if you're just joining now, what we're talking about is ways to import loads from various load boards into the Super Dispatch dashboard, which then you assign from the dashboard. The dispatcher assigns from the dashboard to the driver's mobile app. And therefore, the dispatcher helps clean up the order before the driver sees it ready for pickup with all the notes, etc. Again, yeah, secretary, administrative assistant. That's what a
Yeah,
dispatcher
it's
is.
not going to let me do it.
That's
Okay, so
okay.
then once you're using Super Dispatch, let's say we picked up a car, we're going to go into one of the ones I've got build on here. And so say your driver just delivered it. As he's using it, when he picks up the car, you scan the VIN, and then it walks you through it, and it makes you take the pictures, put the damage in, and stuff like that. So this is the results of this. This is the BOL, and as you'll notice, these are the marks on it, and it's got little codes on here. Let's see what it says here. And
Hey,
all the codes are for like scratches, dents, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So right now you're showing these are the pictures attached inside the order in the dashboard. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what's cool about it is, as long as when you're doing Super Dispatch, you want to make sure it's listed if it's a truck, it's a car, a motorcycle, whatever you're using, because it will show you the proper picture for whatever it is. Because you don't want it to have this listed as a car, because it'll screw up what he's trying to do. So that's another thing you want to make sure it's done right. Anyways, and these are all the pictures he took at pickup. And he picked this up, I believe, at Mannheim, if I'm not mistaken. So he also
Looks like a lot.
does what everybody should do, is he takes a picture of the gate pass right here.
Oh, yeah.
He also writes everything on there.
So, and I noticed the drivers are writing the notes on the front of the gate pass, not on the back.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I've noticed lately too. And probably it doesn't really matter, but he takes a picture of it. And actually, it probably does better for him for pictures, because that way it associates it with the scan.
I agree.
And all the car and stuff like that.
The front makes sense. There's plenty of room. I like that.
Yeah. And then he turns that into the guard check, but then he takes a picture of it and puts it on here. So in case he shows up and there's damage, he can say, this is what I gave to the guard check. This is what was wrong. This driver also, when he gets delivered, these are pictures he took when he delivered the car. As you can see, he's got where he parked the car and everything else. And then it also, Super Dispatch is great because it time stamps and date stamps everything. So like he dropped this on 4/2 in Chillicothe. There's a picture of it. If they say they can't find it, and they probably parked this there, by the way, but he can say, okay, it was parked right here on the end of the building next to a blue truck or something like that. Because, they lose cars all the time at the dealership.
And I really like that because it gives you such orientation. Anybody that works anywhere near there can look at that and go, oh, I know where it's parked.
Yep. Yeah, because you could send them the picture. In all reality, they get the pictures. When you invoice, it's like if I was invoicing this out to the broker, and the broker called and said they couldn't find this car, he can pull this all up and say, okay, look, it was parked right here, blah, 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 blah. That usually doesn't happen. They usually have the dealership call me and I have to do this. But anyways,
yeah, that's right. Well, hey, that's why dispatchers aren't illegal, because there's so much work that they do. See what I did there?
So,
hey, by the way, Corey says, I was hoping you were going to show me a trick because I can never import from CarsArrive. Can we do a CarsArrive?
I don't have a live load, and that's what I had happen. I can't.
Because you can't import a... Now, here's the thing. Okay, I'll say this. Here's the way I used to do it. Is that you save the CarsArrive, go to the dispatch, right? If you can, if you cannot.
You can.
But go to the dispatch and save that as a PDF, right?
Right.
But you have to save the right document.
And then you just bring it up.
And then you import that
It's
PDF.
the same thing. You press import right there.
Yeah.
And see, like all these are loads. I don't have anything saved for CarsArrive because I always use their import button. Otherwise, I'd do that for you.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept. Once you save it as a PDF, you just push this button and it will put it right on the board for you.
So here's the question. This is for Corey, does CarsArrive have an import button on their load board? I thought they used to, right?
Yes.
They do.
They do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It says import to Super Dispatch right on it.
Okay.
So unless I take a load, let me
Corey,
see
next time you book a CarsArrive load, look for the Super Dispatch button on. Is it on the dispatch page?
Yeah, it's like when you take the load itself and you've already accepted it, then all of a sudden it's up here on the right through here. It'll say import to Super Dispatch, and you just push that button and it goes right into there.
Okay, so keep us posted, Corey. This is great feedback for all tech manufacturers. that wonder
Yeah.
about the nuances that the user goes
Yeah.
through, this is awesome feedback.
Yeah. Now, there is no button on RAT and there is nothing for United Road. We just save them and do exactly what we do for Central Dispatch and transfer them over. Same thing with Metrogistics. You just save the PDF, you send it over. I'm sorry, Acertus. And who
Well,
else?
do they now? Hey, by the way, question on Acertus. When they dispatch, because you still go to MetroLoads.com, right?
Right.
And
right.
when they send you the dispatch sheet, does it say Acertus or Metro?
I've had them say McNutt.
Right.
Let's see.
Right.
Some of their stuff, I think, is because it was like their account with McNutt. I think that's why it comes over like that.
Exactly. It has to do with the original business relationship. Again, everything comes back to business relationships.
We're okay.
So we're at MetroLoads,
right,
which is part of Acertus.
There it is. Yeah. Let's look at one right here. See what it tells me.
Wow. Thanks, Ron. That is super nice. Well, it's interesting, Ron. So I was doing I did the video edit for Dispatching Live. I just did the video edit this morning, and I was watching last night. I was watching one of my videos from 3 years ago. Wow, so much has changed and developed since then that I'm so proud. I'm so glad I started this channel in 2017 as opposed to like last month. Because there's so much stuff. Okay, so it says Metrogistics.
Yep.
Even
that
though
one says Metrogistics.
Metrogistics is a part of Acertus, and it takes a lot of time to update everything. So Metrogistics is part of Acertus.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if I've seen any that say Acertus, to be honest with you.
Right. I don't think I have either. And that's the thing is that Acertus, I'll tell you what, Acertus, with the whole like touchless delivery, home delivery, COVID-19 thing going on, I mean, they're going to be right up there with Carvana as far as companies that get huge business because of last mile delivery. So seeing a good rate posted on the load board by Acertus, that made me happy.
So that's what I did with Metro. I just saved it and then I just imported it just like you do a central dispatch page. And seriously, you can, and you still can do CarsArrive the exact same way, like what Jay was saying. You just save it, but there is a button. If you're signed up with Super Dispatch, all those buttons are on CarsArrive, and I think there's another one. It's not RAT though. I'm trying to think. It's not ACV.
While you're and keep thinking about that, I just want to mention this too, because we're going to wrap up Dispatching Live pretty soon. But I mean, we're doing pretty good on views, and that's kind of how I gauge how things are going. And now that I said that, half the people are going to stop watching. But because that always happens. I never can talk about the views. Anyways, we are going to leave soon, but Tuesday night is a Superflow update. We're going to learn what Ship with Larry is, and we're going to talk, again, more about Dispatch Center and Truckify. That's going to be an awesome show. Super has a button for Central Dispatch import, too. No, that's cool, Clarence. Thank you, Clarence. Okay, so so when you're in the Central Dispatch
what I did,
order,
right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks,
right
Clarence.
There.
Yeah, no, and you know what? And that's the thing too. We're all joining and exiting at different times because this place is like a saloon. So if you're just joining now, you say something that's already been said, no problem, because we're sharing information. The whole point of Dispatching Live is to give a better perspective about what dispatching is, how hard it is, and how hard it is for carriers to put together a profitable route when booking off load boards. It's not easy. This is a hard job no matter who's doing it.
And the good thing about Super Dispatch, too, you can get reports for the week, for the year. It tells you, what you've done. You can put in your dates. You can in accounts payable. It does all of this stuff. You can make a custom report that you want. that's only for certain things. And then you also have GPS tracking if they have it on. You can track your driver.
If the driver
so
turns it on, yeah.
yeah.
So here, Michael, I'll tell you what I try not to do is I try not to ever say anybody's cost or what they charge because things can vary. But if you want to learn more, I just put in the link in the live chat, and then there's what Clarence pays.
Let's see. Oh, he doesn't have his phone on.
No,
but
you're
usually,
good, Clarence. Thank you. No,
I can usually track.
You guys
him.
can say anything. I try to be careful because I don't want to get stuck in. Well, you promised, Ville. I don't like you promised, Ville. I don't like you promised, Ville. I've never said that before. I stand by what I said.
And if you have multiple drivers, you can have more than one driver with Super Dispatch, and you have to just pay for extra drivers. But it will also, you can break down your what they're made for each driver too with this as well. Like if one guy runs a certain route and another guy runs another route, they don't all combine. You can separate them by drivers and how much they made. Like if you're paying a driver, per mile or per percentage. Personally, I recommend doing a percentage if you're paying a driver, not by the mile.
Good point. Let's talk about that for a second. I get that question. If you're a dispatcher, I've seen this, and this is another reason why I think everybody hates dispatchers, stinking dispatchers. But is that a dispatcher is charging a percentage rather than a flat fee. I don't understand charging a flat fee because that gets into well, you promised. Well, no, listen, everything's a percentage. Everything should be a sliding scale. American capitalism is a sliding scale. So I don't know why a dispatcher should be trapped into. So what is the deal? What? I don't understand it. But anyways, dispatchers charge a percentage of every load that they book that you successfully pick up and deliver. If it cancels, probably don't pay anything.
We don't charge you.
Yeah, it just you just spent 2 hours.
In all honesty,
doing nothing.
If you look at it this way, the more money they make, the more money we make as a dispatcher too. It gives us incentive to make as much money as we can every week for them.
That's right, because without an incentive, who works harder? Without an incentive.
Right. Exactly.
Again, American capitalism, I'm going to go back to that. That's why I don't understand why, I hate to get political, but as a country, nobody likes to say the word socialism unless we're talking about the other guy. He needs to be a socialist, not me. I don't get that. What is up with that? Again, on these load boards, I mean, are you going to subsidize my truck because that doesn't pay enough? I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Right. And they don't.
Oh, and these are the thoughts that happen. By the way, we're sharing the thoughts of a dispatch office. Being a dispatcher is a lot of work. And it can feel very, I mean, like the clock is ticking and the driver says, "Where are you sending me?"
Right.
This is stressful, man. Stressful.
Right. Yeah, it is. And it's normally stressful in a normal world, and we're not even in a normal world right now. So
no.
It's even worse right now.
So let's end on that note. What do you think's going to happen? What do you see happen? It's April 9th. What's next? What do you think's going to happen?
I think once I don't know how I don't even know how to predict how long this is going to take, but I think once we're out of that, I think the car sales, all this stuff is just going to go boom, and there's going to be a butt ton of loads on here. I don't know if the rates will come up. I think they're going to have to because there'll be more competition. Right now, I think they're getting away with some of this stuff because they know they got drivers. I thought it was going to go the opposite way, to be honest with you. I thought the rates were going to go up high because these people knew there were not that many drivers on the road.
That's what I thought.
Instead, what they're doing is, they're doing, well, we know you're on the road, so we're not going to pay you any money, and nana boo-boo.
Yeah,
so
it does.
And it's gone the exact opposite. I really thought.
I can't believe it.
Yes, yeah.
I can't believe it.
I mean, it's like when the gas prices go up, the rates should go up. They don't always. They have before in the past. This last oh, what was it like last year when it went up? Nobody really raised the rates, but remember when the gas was up like $4 a gallon and stuff like that? I don't know how many years ago that was. They
When the
were
rates went
raising the
up.
rates, and we were insisting they raised the rates.
Maybe that's
So they
it.
did it, but then of course,
Maybe
yeah,
that's what, when
yeah,
you call on the load and you ask for money, they're like, well, listen, gas is cheap. I mean, I know there's a
yeah,
pandemic, but gas is cheap.
yeah. That doesn't matter.
And you know what,
I
by the
mean, to
way,
me,
this
it's
whole this whole asking for $5 and $10 thing, you're moving a car 1,000
yeah,
miles. I'm not looking for another $10.
no. I want
That's
100, $200 is
ridiculous.
usually what I ask. Yeah, yeah.
$100
Well,
minimum.
I go by what it is per mile and what size of vehicle it is, and then also like, is it my what do you call it? Your your leg of the trip, your main hotspot trip vehicle. That's the one I always try to get the most money out of.
Yeah, the
Even if
money
it's
leg.
listed for good money, I usually ask for more, and then I still ask everyone else that's on my list of people. Even if I only get $25 out of asking for 100, I will still take it if I've got that leg of my trip covered. We'll just keep going up until I get to where I need to be. So
This has been exactly, your paycheck is tied to mine. The more you make, that's right. See, that's the deal, Corey. We're in the, a dispatcher is a team member, not an enemy.
yeah,
If you get a feeling
right,
that they're a liar, cut them off.
yeah,
You do that with
oh
anybody
yeah, get out,
else. You don't stay
yeah,
in a relationship with
absolutely,
somebody you think is lying to you. And if you do, that's a
right,
mistake. Don't do that with a business
right,
partner, a dispatcher. Man, if you
right,
don't trust the guy bagging your groceries, get in a different line.
yeah. I
This
agree.
old
Because I
idea that,
feel like with my, go ahead,
no, please, you.
go ahead.
No, I jump
Well,
in
I
on
feel
you all
like
day.
all the people that I dispatch for are like my partner. I work for them, and so my goal is to make them as much money and to make them as successful as possible. And the more successful they are, the more successful I am. So that's kind of the way I feel about it.
Well, it's true, and that's why I just put up the put your website up on the screen. Listen, if you got a question
Oh,
for
okay.
Sue just spent an hour with me looking through loads, agonizing about what do we do right now because this is hard. But if you need
Yeah.
help, go to murphyautotransportservices.com. She's got her phone number up there, her email address up there, and she's a friend of the show. We want you to join us every Tuesday night for Tuesday Nights Live. She's usually in the live chat. Dispatchering, brokering, Sue, you do a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
have
know.
been for quite a while.
Up here it says 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Man,
Yep.
that's a
It's
lot
true.
of, and you have a lot of drivers. I mean, what if you added up all the drivers that you currently work with and the ones you've been through? It's got to be over 100, right?
Oh yeah. Over the years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's a
Yeah.
lot of. That's what's so interesting. You've never, I've never driven. I never loaded or unloaded, which means some people say, well, then you have no business talking about this. Really?
Right.
Man, I wouldn't
Right.
go that route. But Sue, have you ever loaded,
Yeah.
unloaded, or driven?
I've never driven a big rig. I have loaded and unloaded cars in a
Cool.
truck, a regular like F-350 and stuff like that. I've even done some mechanicking as well.
Nice,
So
nice.
usually when I'm telling some guy how to load a transporter, it's because of from past experiences, if not from me, but from past drivers telling me how they load it a certain way. So I can usually tell them how to fit a certain load on there if they haven't figured it out, especially if they're new. That's why I like new guys. They're usually easier to work with as far as explaining to them how this business works because it's changed a lot over the years. It's not, you know, there's a lot more to it now. Although with EBOL systems, I think it's way easier than it used to be way back in the day.
Right.
And pictures and covering your butt by pictures and stuff like that because damage claims were like left and right back in the day. I mean, because there was no proof and I mean, we barely had cell phones back then, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and getting to take a picture back then, I mean, they had a flip phone that didn't happen. It wasn't even, nobody even talked about taking pictures back then.
Right.
And now that you can do all that stuff, I can tell you that our damage claims are probably almost non-existent with using Super Dispatch,
And
just because everything's on there. If they
that's
do it the right way,
nuts.
if the driver does what they're supposed to do, we're covered. Let's just put it that way.
Well, and that's the thing is technology in general. There's so much more technology. I
Yeah,
know by the time it comes to finishing putting together a route for a driver and looking at how much money we're going to make,
yeah,
honestly,
Yeah.
unfortunately, seems like the driving's the easy part. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it is easy.
It's all this stuff.
But running
Yeah.
a business,
Yeah.
thinking about all, because you do that. Go ahead and do that 2,500 miles for 30 cents a mile. Wait until you got to start paying your IFTA taxes and getting into all the federal and state regulation stuff. That there is so much to
And
it.
maintenance.
And maintenance.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Right. That's why Lionel said, if you're not making money, you're giving away your truck one bolt at a time.
Right.
Because you are. Because it's coming around. You're going to have to pay for maintenance. And if you didn't make money on that 30 cent a mile car, well, there ain't no money for maintenance now.
No.
And you know the federal government's getting their
to pay
cut.
your bills.
I mean, you'll be sitting at the repair shop with nothing. They're still going to take theirs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. True.
Wow.
So true.
So true. All right, well, listen, Sue, thank you for your time. This was awesome. Sue knows how to navigate, not just brokering. She can fly my Starship Enterprise. Wow. Listen to that. Dude. That's
awesome.
Great. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. We're definitely going to do dispatching live again, at least within a few weeks. I'm thinking it's a monthly show right now. Here's what I'm thinking. Why don't keep me posted in a couple weeks what you think is happening out there? Because what we could do, we could go again. We could either go live again on the 30th or on May 7th. This show is always on a Thursday at noon. So be thinking about it. We'll let you guys know in a couple weeks what we're going to do. But there's no need to do this show weekly, especially right now. And make sure you tune in. Please do tune in to State of Car Hauling Address every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon on Auto Transport Intel. Make sure you join us for Tuesday nights live on Auto Transport Intel. And please do remember to like, share, subscribe. Share this with your friends, carriers, dealers, dispatchers, brokers. Send it to your insurance guy. Hey, man, this is why I'm late on my payment. Right?
Yeah.
This is information. This is high-level information about what it's like to try to make money as a car hauler living off the load boards. It isn't easy, no matter how you slice it. So, Sue, thanks so much for your time today. Everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Guys.
Really informative.
It was.
Really appreciate it. I know, and I'm a talking machine, so if I talked over you, I apologize.
You're fine.
Hey, Ron told his grandma too. Well, thanks, Ron. All right, you guys take care. Peace out, and we will see you again soon.
All right. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And I end the meeting, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do dispatcher to driver. Do you wish that you had somebody else helping you those routes and get the really good stuff, right? You want a dispatcher to watch a load board during those times where you can't, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to help you make sure you stay loaded. And all we do is sit at computers, look at load boards, and make phone calls. That's what we do.